Welcome into another edition of the Stripe Show podcast. It is a Froggy Wednesday. We've got the Mexico Championship this week. We are fresh off. We've really had some really good golf the last few weeks. Jordan Spieth, the winner 2 weeks ago. And things are really heating up here on tour. So it's great to have good golf. And now we've got a new event this week. And got a great guest here as well. We have had two Graysons 2 weeks in a row. Last week, Grayson Sig, who played with Steph Straka at the Zurich. And now this week, we got Grayson Murray. So, Grayson, welcome to the Stripe Show podcast, buddy.
Thanks, Froggy. Thanks for having me.
How are you, man?
I'm great. Just sitting here on my balcony in Mexico, enjoying the nice weather down here.
You guys are in Puerto Vallarta, correct? That's
correct. Never been here. It's awesome. We play in Cancun, and we're lucky enough to go there every year. But this, is on the West Coast, and it's got a little different vibe to it, but kind of the same vibe in a way. The golf course is totally different, which I like better personally. But
right.
No, it's great here.
Yeah, we'll get into the golf course, as I know you've already played the golf course, and you guys are teeing off tomorrow. So you played in 4 events this year. Your best finish was at Pebble, 4-time professional winner, including the 2017 Barbasol Championship. So, Grayson, you are no stranger to to the PGA Tour and what it takes to play well. What is it that makes golf so difficult at the highest level?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I think that it's all mental. I have every tool that you need to succeed out here. I've proven it. Yeah, I mean, I think in between the ears is the most important thing at this level that on the PGA Tour that separates the top from just making or keeping your card every year.
Yeah, I think the same thing with amateurs too. Like, you overthink it. You're trying not to do something. You're trying not to do something wrong instead of trying to do something right, and that generally leads to a very bad result.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're trying to be so perfect, or looking at things that might not be what your real problem is, your real root of the issue. So, we're all perfectionists out here to some degree. And, we all got out here swinging our own swing and doing our own thing. And then you like get out here and you want to get better somehow. And that leads to maybe getting worse. And I see it happen all the time. And, just swing your swing is kind of the best motto that you can have. And, some people aren't meant to be number one in the world ever. And some people are. And, take the talent you got and do the best you can with it.
Yeah, you know what? You're exactly right. I think a lot of amateurs fall into that. You play with your buddies, and maybe your buddy was not better than you at one point. Now he is better than you, and you try to see what he's doing, and you try to change your swing to fit that and hit it further and do this and do that. Or you see a tip on television or YouTube or Instagram, and it ends up throwing you off track. And it really can be a very lonely, deep, dark hole you can fall into chasing golf swings.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
do you guys do the same thing? Do you see the same thing happen there where, let's say maybe, and not exactly the same, but maybe you play with Rory and Rory's hitting it far. Then all of a sudden you try to do a little something Rory's doing and it throws you off.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely happened before. But it goes back to just, you got to know your strengths and know your weaknesses and not shy away from your weaknesses. Don't lie about that. You're a bad putter, or you're a bad chipper, or your driver's not, you're not the best driver in the world, but go and work on those and still keep up what you're good at, though. I think that's important to not overlook. For me personally, it's always the putter. If the putter's hot, I play well. If it's not, then I'm struggling to make cuts.
Right.
Usually I'm not very far off with my ball striking when it is off. And so for me, I want to go and practice putting and I want to get better at that, but I can't overlook how good of a ball striker I am and let that slide by, because then you're all of a sudden, all right, your putter's not working. Now your ball striking's not working. Well, that's not a good recipe.
Right. Social media seems to be all the talk lately, whether it's a couple days ago, Elon Musk purchasing Twitter for $44 billion. I mean, it's unbelievable what's going on. And you have been a huge participant in social media. We'll go back a couple of years. I know that you had really kind of come out and said, "Hey, listen, I'm in treatment for for alcoholism. It's been a problem with my career on the PGA Tour. I don't feel like I've had the support that I need." So this is kind of a double-edged question here. And have you received the help that you needed or that you felt is sufficient from the PGA Tour? Part one and part two. How are you doing with that since treatment? Are you better off? Are you healthy now?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was kind of a cry for help more than trying to blame the tour. I think that I'm an adult. I make my own decisions. So, I chose to go sit at the bar and drink before a round multiple times. And it goes back to taking care of yourself before I can take care of you. So I went into treatment, like you said, and I was there for 30 days, and it was a humbling experience, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me at the moment. And the moment I got home, Jay Monahan, the commissioner, called me and apologized and said we could have done better. And I said, he asked point blank, what can we do now for you? And I told him that there's nothing really at this point. I got the help I needed, but I would love to have something in place for guys that are coming out on the PGA Tour, in the future, that they know that they are safe and they can go talk to someone who is willing to help them. Because it is a lonely world out here, especially as a young kid who, I was 22 when I was a rookie, and guys are just younger and younger these days. And,
Right.
they're given all this money and given all this fame, and it's hard to kind of to handle it all if you don't have the right tools in place. And I don't think any 19, 20-year-old has all the right tools in place. I don't care how well you can hit a golf ball. There's a lot more to it on the tour than the tour life than just hitting a golf ball. So, the guys who get it early can figure it out early. They're the ones who succeed early. I think perfect example would be like a Jordan Spieth or a Colin Morikawa or someone like that who seems like they've been groomed since they were a kid to be this superstar. And when they finally, hit the big stage, it's almost like it's what they've been doing for so many years.
Right.
It's no different. So yeah, I basically told Jay, look, when you have a rookie orientation every year, there's X amount of rookies, range from, their teens to 40 years old, probably, or even higher, that guys don't know what it's really like to be out here and to play every week and to see all these new cities and to make all this money. And what are they going to do with their downtime, right? Are they going to drink? Are they going to go to the casinos? Are they going to what's going to be good for them that they can have that balance
Right.
that some of them have girlfriends and wives that can keep them in check. I didn't have that. I didn't have anyone that was there to really support me. It was just myself. And although my parents supported me behind the scenes, obviously they can't, they're not going to sit there and babysit me. They're not going to monitor me when I'm on the road. And,
Right.
and so it honestly, it came so easy to me at first when I was a rookie, and I won as a rookie, and I got the 2-year exemption, and, was making millions of dollars, and I thought it would never end. I thought what I was doing was working, and sure enough, it catches up to you. And before you know it, you're checking into rehab. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I think it's great that I was able to kind of put it out there, because I've had a lot of actually pros, and I will never say their name, but come up to me and just thanked me that I was so vulnerable and was able to speak about my problems, because were going through the same stuff. They chose not to put it out there publicly like I did.
Right.
But it honestly, it felt good hearing that, because it's for once, I felt like my voice was not just heard, but it was helping guys around me. And for that, I'm grateful for. And, I'm not perfect. I'll be the first to say that I've had slip ups since I've entered rehab, but I know how to reel it back and know that I got the team around me that can get me right back in line. And I feel like it's one of those things that's never going to go away. I'm going to live with it, but I do have the tools now that I didn't have before, that I'm prepared and I'm aware, and I know the signs to look out for. And I know, when I'm not playing good golf, that's usually one of my triggers, is to go and hit the bottle. Or when I'm hit airports, that's one of my triggers, is to, so I try, although you can't avoid some instances, I can't avoid airports. I can't avoid bad golf, but I can't avoid going down that rabbit hole again of knowing that it's no good on that side. So
yeah, no, I mean, it's a big deal for you not to, like you're saying, I'm not blaming anybody. I know it was something that I did. You're saying yourself, you were responsible, but to want to help other people is really where it's at. For example, Billy Horschel's wife, Brittany, has been very public about her battle with alcoholism and how she went to rehab, and now she does all she can to help. And so that's really where it's about, is once you realize, hey, I can help myself, and I've got myself to a good, nice, good ground, stable place. Now I can help other people. And so to be able to do that and get with the tour and try and make sure that rookies that come out don't suffer the same pitfalls that you suffered, that's big of you to do that and try and help the tour and help others. Not to speak out of class here, and I don't know that this is the problem. Matt Wolff has seemed to be one who has come out of the box and played very, very well, had a lot of success early, had a lot of the spotlight on him, and now has struggled. I don't have any idea if alcohol is a problem. I don't even know if he drinks. I know nothing about that. I just know that that's another one that really took off quick. A star was really bright, and then now it has seemed to crash and burn. And so I hope that somebody's there for him to help him as he is trying to build his way back up to where he was.
I agree. I mean, Matthew is such a good kid. I mean, I've played with him many times, and you're right. He came out here and the world was at his fingertips. He had a ton of money thrown at him, and I think whatever he's doing, I think he's going to get back to playing Matthew Wood golf again. And who cares how long it takes? I mean, it could take, he could be back in a month, or it could take years, but who cares? It's his timeline. And, I think if everyone is there for him when he comes back, and, I think that's the most important thing. But I'm glad he's focusing on himself, most importantly, taking time away from the game. Because if you don't get better yourself, you're not going to be able to help others eventually down the road.
Right, like you did.
Like I'm continuing to do, yeah. And like I said, I'm not perfect, and I will be the first to admit my faults. But I could totally not give someone advice about this topic 9 months ago before I went into rehab, because I was not in the place to do it.
It's a lonely, I don't think the average person realizes, and this is something else I want to get into, is a tweet you made a couple weeks ago now. You played on the Korn Ferry Tour. You shot 4 rounds in the 60s and said that you lost money that week. And I think some people took that as a complaint. And I didn't take it as a complaint. I took it as, you can play really well out here. This is how amazing the talent is. If you are aspiring to be a professional golfer, you better get your shit together, because it's tough out here. It's a lonely, lonely world, and there is a ton of talent out there at every level, not just at the top level on the PGA Tour, but even at every level.
Yeah, I mean, the Korn Ferry is doing such a great job and putting more money out there, and I agree to that to a certain extent. But I also agree that they shouldn't get guys too content out there. I mean, it is a developmental tour. It's like the minors in baseball, and the minor leaguers aren't making much money. They're having to grind it out, and but it is a bad thing when someone finishes 75th on the money list, basically keeping their Korn Ferry card for the year and losing money for the year. I think they should be making money because they have, families to support. So I'm glad that they are upping the purses out there in that sense, but you can't up them but too much, because then guys will be too content and they're never even going to want to get to the PGA Tour. But yeah, I mean, I sent that tweet out as just the kind of a eye opener to guys who are trying to make it, who are trying to continuing to pursue their dream of getting out here on the tour. And, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy when you do make it out here, but it definitely sure is not going to be easy when you are out there grinding and shooting, like you said, 4 rounds in the 60s and losing money. And, I've done this long enough. I'm not going to bunk it with 4 guys, 4 caddies, or 4 players. That's just not, I need to be comfortable off the course, but I'm also not one to splurge to where I did
You're
lose
not
money
staying
on.
in the suite at the Ritz-Carlton every weekend.
No, not on the Corn Ferry Tour. Maybe in Maui or something if I'm playing in the Tournament of Champions.
Right.
But when there's guaranteed money to be made, but yeah, I mean it's a win lose out there in that sense with the money. But you know what? It's very rewarding when you do make it out here, and the tour is pumping in more money, and they're getting a lot of pressure from Saudi to keep upping it over here, and which is I think a great thing. And I know you want to talk about that in a little bit, but
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's great to have competition. I think there's too I think the tour gets too content sometimes, knowing that they do have the best tour in the world,
They do.
and I think someone needs to challenge them. I really do.
And we'll definitely get into that, but I wanted to ask you as well, if you could kind of break down, you don't have to give exact numbers by any means, but maybe you did actually. If you could break down what did you finish that week that you shot the 4 rounds in the 60s at the Corn Ferry event?
So I finished T26, I think a lot of ways, maybe 8 or 9 ways. So that money obviously is dispersed in the lesser amount that because I finished in so many ties. But
right.
I think I finished 7 shots out of the lead.
Okay.
So there was 27 guys in between me and
which goes to show how much talent's out there. You shot 4 rounds in the 60s.
Yeah.
And you were 7 shots back. That's how much talent's on the Corn Ferry Tour.
Oh, absolutely. And it also, shows you that one putt here or there every day is the difference in winning and, losing money for the week.
Right. And how do you end up losing money that week?
So I actually ended up doing the Monday qualifier for that tournament. So I was out there. Well, it was actually a Friday qualifier. So I got out there on the Wednesday before the week started, stayed Wednesday, Thursday, played in the Friday qualifier. Wasn't going to fly back to Raleigh or Florida because the tournament started on a Wednesday. So, I would have to fly back and turn right back around and get back to Dallas. So
that's just another expense. Yeah,
exactly. So I ended up staying out there and got a room Friday night through basically the end of the tournament. So I was out there like 10 days. And let's just say if I was out there a normal 7 days like I usually am, I still would have lost money. It's not like those 3 days cost me, was the difference maker.
Right.
It basically you go into paying your caddy, just a flat rate, and then a little bit of a percentage, and then from a hotel, and you got to rent a car out there. You're not getting courtesy cars like you do on the PGA Tour.
Right.
So you rent a car, caddy, hotel, and then food. You got to eat. You can't starve yourself. And I saw someone saying
that doesn't lead to good golf.
No, I saw a guy, I think, responded, I should skip a few meals. I did that back in the 70s or whatever. Slept in my car a few nights, whatever. I'm not dead broke. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
I'm not. That's just.
And that
not,
wasn't the point of your tweet in the first place.
Absolutely not. You know how Twitter is. Everyone takes it out of context,
right?
Or tries to make you look like the villain when you're not trying to be. But
yeah, like Mike Tyson said, Twitter's made people too comfortable with disrespecting them. That guy on that airplane found out real fast that in real life it's a little different than Twitter.
Yeah, he's the wrong guy to go at in real life.
Right.
But anyways, it's all good and fun. I honestly, I'm at the point where when I do tweet, I try not to even look at the responses, and if I do, I'm trying to just have fun, pull someone's leg, because these guys are just keyboard warriors at the end of the day, and they're just trying to get something out of you. They're trying to make it, trying to get something for you to say that's going to be a little newsworthy, or tell their buddies that, hey, Grayson Murray tweeted me back this because I tweeted him this. And, I'm my agent's worst nightmare, to be honest with you, but he loves me and I love him. And it's all good and fun. I mean, I think, I probably could have more sponsors or companies coming at me in different angles if I were a little more by the book, but that's not who I am.
That's
and
not
I'm not willing to change who I am to get a corporate sponsor on my sleeve and fake it around for all those years. So
Speaking of social media, so let's go back to Hawaii. And Kevin Dawes playing and doing what he does, walking in putts. Mm-hmm. And Chantel McCabe, who is a friend here of the podcast, good friend of ours.
Yeah,
she tweets that. Yeah, she's awesome. She tweets that it never gets old watching Kevin Dawes walk in putts.
Yeah.
And you decided to respond with, it gets old watching him take 3 minutes to hit each one of them, though.
Yes.
And you're not wrong.
I'm not wrong. And his playing partners that week were walking to the next tee, so they were it was getting old for them too. Honestly, that was just a stab at him to maybe to get a little bit of a rise out of him. Maybe
right. And it did. It worked.
And it worked. And you know what? He came back at me, and kudos to him for giving it back to me. Hey, when I give it, I'm ready to receive it. I get it. I'm not the best player out there on tour, and I'm an easy target when it comes to attacking someone. They're going to come back, and if he's a better player than me, then that gives him an easy way to an easy comeback. And I kind of set myself up for that one, but he held his own and came back, and I was applauding him on the other side, and I wanted to keep going a bit and just kind of draw it out and give the people a little bit of a show, but
right.
At that point, it kind of made me look like I was just, it didn't have any good effects afterwards. I kind of took it like a man and just moved on. But
right. So you've played 4 events. Have you seen Kevin since that exchange on Twitter? And the reason I ask is because this week you guys are both in the field together. I did notice that he is 1 tee time after you, but you're going off on 10 and he's going off on 1. So you won't be close to each other when you tee off.
Yeah, he I mean, that was what, a couple months ago.
It was in January, I believe.
Yeah, so we're in April. So that was, 3 months ago, 4 months ago. And
right.
I honestly have kind of forgot about it. Like it is what, it kind of brushed over a few days after. And right. And so I forgot about it. But funny enough, I was hitting balls today on the range in Mexico, and just kind of had my head down, walking to the chipping green, and sure enough, I hear someone yelling and cussing at me, and I don't know. Can we cuss on this show? I won't repeat what he.
Go ahead. You can say it. No, it's fine. If he said it, you can say it. It's news when you report it that way.
Well, yeah, I won't repeat every word he said, but basically, there's a lot of profanity involved, and calling me a not so nice word about how I should have said it to him and to his face in person, and. He didn't like that I didn't tag him on the post, which I'm pretty sure I did. I'm pretty sure Chantel had already tagged him.
Yeah, she had tagged him.
So, yeah, exactly. So if I respond, I'm pretty sure he's already tagged in the post, if that's right. How I think it works. I'm not afraid to go at him. I'll tag him.
Right.
So he was cussing at me, saying I should have told him in person, blah, blah, blah. And this was today on the range. And I mean, loud, right? The range is packed, and I mean, there must have been 40 guys lined up on the range, and I guarantee you, every one of them could have heard what he said, and the caddies. And I went up to him. I went right up to his face and held my ground, and I told him, I said, if I weren't get suspended right now, if I wouldn't get suspended, I would drop his ass right there on the range, because what he said to me was very immature, and. I know he wouldn't have said it to me if we were just seeing each other on the road, like outside of the golf course. I think it was a very immature thing to say right then and there, and 4 months later, and to do it on the range where he knows it's his safe spot. He knows that I'm not going to do anything to him, and he knows that he's provoking me. Even another player standing right beside said, "Hey, Grayson, just keep walking, because he's just provoking you. He's getting what he wants to get out of you." And I think the old me might have just gone ahead and done it. I told a caddy who was standing there, who I'm good friends with, one of my old caddies, Mike Hicks, who's we're both huge Hurricanes fans, Carolina Hurricanes fans. And I told him, I said, if that would have been on ice and on skates, I would have got a 10-minute major, and he'd have been out for the season. Let's just put it that way.
Wow.
But it's golf, and you know what? I'm going to move on. And like they say, I'm living rent free in his head now, because I've moved on from it.
Right. How'd you leave it with him?
I told him, I said, if he goes and plays the Saudi league, no one's going to miss him on this tour.
Wow. Were there some
But
F words involved in what he called you? Did he call you a name, or did he just say he didn't like what you
oh
said?
no, there were some F words, and there were some words that you cannot say on the show, and
Really?
it is what it is. I mean, if he's going to call me out, I'm going to hold my ground. And I went right up to his face and told him. I said, "Look, if I knew I wasn't getting suspended, you'd be on this ground right now, because I would have you, and I would, I'm a lot bigger guy than him, and I can hold my ground when it comes to that type of stuff. And I'm not afraid. And I just don't think it was the right time and place to do it in front of all those people.
Is this the first event you've been in that he's been in at the same time since that happened?
Yeah, I think so. And
Okay, because he didn't play the Honda. I know you played the Honda.
Yeah.
He must not have played the Honda.
No, exactly. And look, my buddy, I was telling my buddy this story who I'm rooming with this week, and he's like, "Look, should you have tweeted what you tweeted? What do you get from that? Why'd you do it? Whatever." And I said, "You're right. I mean, it probably wasn't the best thing to tweet, and I didn't gain anything from it, but a few people disliking me, and then a lot of people liking me as well, but I didn't gain anything from it." He's correct. But at the same time, it also has been 4 months, and he's the immature one at this point, to do what he did today. And I'm not gonna poke the bear anymore. I've had my fun with that guy, and if he wants to be the immature adult he is, then I'll let him continue to do it. But at this point, I'm gonna, like one of my friends who texted me, saw it happen, just go kick his ass on the golf course. You don't have to kick his ass in person. He's not worth it. Kick his ass on the golf course, and just let the clubs do the talking at this point.
Yeah, it's a lose-lose situation for you at this point. You're better off to just walk away. He did. You tweeted what you tweeted. He did what he did today. You're better off at this point. You've both done your thing. Move on and do your talking on the golf course. I agree 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And am I going to go and have dinner with him and make up? No, absolutely not. I'm not going to do that, and I'm not going to ever hang out with the guy. And if we get paired together, I probably won't say one word to him, but I will shake his hand and before we play, and shake his hand after, like a man. And at this point, it's the ball's in his court. If he wants to act like an immature adult he is, then he can keep doing that. But I've moved on.
But you said other people did see it today.
Oh, the whole range. I mean, it was the whole range. I was so heated. I'm telling you, when I say this, fumes were coming out of my ears. I was so mad at the moment, and
congrats to you for controlling yourself.
Yeah, well, I won't say his name, but there was a player right beside me, and he basically said, "Grayson, look, he's provoking you. This is what he wants. This is what he's trying to get you to do. Just walk away." And I was like, You know what? I'm glad I did. Called my agent and just said, "You won't believe what happened." And he's like, "I'm proud of you. Kind of would have been funny if you'd have punched him, but nah, not really. It would have not been funny." And
I wouldn't need that.
Like I said, if I was on skates and on ice, it would have been a different story.
Right. Different sport, different outcome.
Yeah, exactly.
You mentioned the Saudi League. And so this week we've seen that reportedly there are 15 people ready to go. The only name that we've really seen so far, well, actually two. We've seen that Robert Garrigus has requested permission, and that Phil now, after a hiatus from the tour, has applied to be in the U.S. Open and the PGA Championship, I believe, and then has also applied to be in the Saudi League. You did mention earlier that you think the Saudi League is good, and I halfway agree with you. I think competition is good at any point. I think competition makes everybody better. Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
I have an issue with the Saudi League and where the money's coming from and all the things that it represents. That's where my issue lies with them. Mm-hmm. Where do you stand on the Saudi League? Is the Saudi League something that Grayson Murray would be interested in being a part of? Or are you happy on the PGA Tour? Because like you said, it is the greatest tour in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I think the guys that are coming out and you start seeing the list get bigger and bigger, they are basically right into the tour trying to get an exempt or I guess you can say a permission to go play.
But hasn't the tour made it clear that if you go over there and play that, you are not coming back?
Yeah, I don't know how it works because I know some of these players are just getting released for like one event. They're not technically signing up for the whole tour. Um, Robert Garrigus has the same agent as I do, so I've talked to Kevin, my agent, about this, and basically Robert got the release to go play in London. I think is their first event.
So
I
can
think
you do that? Can you play in one event and come back?
that's where I think everything is just so in the air that people are really afraid to even take the first step.
Right.
I mean, my agent kind of put it to me this way. They're like, what's a number that you would go play in one event? Let's just say one event does happen and that's it. No other events happen. And what's the number that would get you to retire, basically? What's the number that, let's just say you go play in that one event and then the PGA Tour says you're not allowed to come back? You know, what type of number, what money number is going to take you to do that?
What is
And
that for you?
I mean, I said 20 million up front, just stroke a check and I'll go invest it and I'll just ride off into the sunset. Not that I think I can't make more than that on the PGA Tour. I just think you take that money and you go and invest it right and, you know, bye-bye. But I know the money, the number is a lot bigger for a lot of guys. And
does it not bother you where that money's coming from or the unstableness of that tour?
I mean, it definitely is kind of a lot of people like to use the term dirty money. It's probably not, you know, I don't know enough about that type of where it's coming. Well, I do, obviously I know it's coming from investors and the Saudis and all that. And I personally, I don't know. Like I'm kind of two ways. I see where you're coming from, and I also see, you know, why guys would do it. Because it can better your life. You know, when you're talking 20s of millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars, that's a lot of money. You know, that's a lot of money.
I can see why somebody maybe, and this is not, I'm not by any means downsizing people against people. I'm saying I can't see where a Dustin, a Brooks, a Rory, I can't see Justin Thomas. I can't see where those guys would benefit from going. I can see where level 2 and 3 guys would benefit from going because of the money that is available. However, are the level 2 and 3 guys going over to play the Saudi League? Is that going to garner enough attention? They're going to need some A-list player guys to make that jump, and I'm not sure they're going to get that.
Here's the thing. They over there, they print the money, right? Like they have so much money, it doesn't matter. I think they're trying to stick it to the tour. I really do. I don't think they care if they lose hundreds of millions of dollars. I really think once they start having these tournaments and people are making, you know, let's just say the Grayson Murray of the world goes and plays and I make $4 million my first week out there. You know, that's as much as I've made in my career. So if I go and make that and then all of a sudden all these guys who are, let's just say, tier 3, tier 2 players are making this type of money. And now all of a sudden you see all these A tier players that are like, oh, wow, okay, this is pretty easy to make this much money. Maybe we should go try it. I think that's what they're trying to do. I think they have realized and have come to that. All right, our first couple tournaments are not going to be A-list players. But if we keep continuing to put the money in the pockets of these guys, I think they think that A-list players are going to jump on board eventually. The names you just mentioned, yeah, I mean, I don't think they should go. I mean, they're already making all kinds of money off the course.
Right.
The on the course, you know, that can stop in a heartbeat, right? I mean, they don't have to continue to play up to their level that they're playing. The Justin Thomases of the world, the Dustin Johnsons, you know, it's hard to keep that going.
Oh, for sure. Tiger Woods has made us all think that it just happens forever, and it doesn't.
Exactly. And you know, in that case, you know, they could. They're not making. You know, let's just say Justin Thomas is averaging $6 to $8 million on the course right now, and another 6 to 8 off the course. Yeah, that's a great living. But what if that 6 to 8 on the course just stops? You know, well, that 6 to 8 off the course is going to stop as well. So, you know, sponsors, yeah, they put out this picture of they love us, they blah blah blah, but as soon as we start playing bad, it's off to the next guy. I'm sorry, it's just they don't sell clubs
Right.
if the guy isn't on the first page of the leaderboard consistently.
So let me ask you this: is the Saudi League something that you are interested in? Is this something you've thought about doing?
I think if the tour came out and said, "Look, you guys can play both. You can have the option," then yes, I would. But
If they said you could play one, if they said you can go play one event, would you go play one event and come back?
If they let me come back, for sure, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Have you heard any other names? So are you aware of any other names other than Garrigus and Mickelson? Are you aware of any other names that you know have? I mean, I've heard Bubba Watson thrown out there. I've heard Poulter thrown out there. I think I heard Na thrown out there. I've heard some names thrown out, but nothing concrete. What have you heard? What are you guys hearing?
So I think Na was his he was signed up to do it, and then his name got out there that he was going to do it, and he backed out. So a lot of these guys, I think, are wanting to do it, but once their name gets out there in the media, and all of a sudden they start panicking because now their sponsors don't want anything to do with them because they're tied to Saudi. So
yeah, I mean, look at Phil. He lost everything.
I know
every sponsor dipped.
Yeah, and that's my point is. Phil is still Phil. His name is still very relevant, even though his game obviously isn't like it was. Obviously, he just won the PGA, so his game is still good, but he's not like he was 10 years ago or 15 years ago. But look how quick they were to leave him because of what he said, or maybe his game wasn't. Maybe they looked at it as, wow, all right, this is our easy way out now. He's 51 years old, and how much money is he really making us as a company? So he said what he said. This is our easy way out. I feel bad for him. I really do. I think he had good intentions. I think he is right about when he said. I don't think the words he used about the tour being greedy was the best choice of words.
Correct.
I do understand what he was trying to say and how he as an individual has brought in the tour so much money in his career, and he has gotten, such a fraction back, I think, in that sense.
$500 million is a lot of money.
It is, but look, I always tell people you got a guy who's the fifth player in the NBA making $100 million in 4 years. So, and he's not a Phil Mickelson. He's not a Hall of Famer. Phil Mickelson would be. I know it's a little different, but the tour has a lot of money. Don't let them fool you. They got all these media rights. They got tons of money sitting there, and I don't really know what they're doing with it.
Well, they did listen, and I don't work for the tour by any means, but the tour does donate a crap ton of money every year, more than any other professional sports organization. They do a lot of charity work, and they do a lot for the communities in which their events are held. So I know that a large portion of the money goes to that as well, and rightfully so. That's what makes the tour so great.
Absolutely. And we're a unique sport. We can play a lot longer than most sports, every sport really. So our careers are longer. We have a bigger window to make money, and they are giving us the opportunity to when we're on TV and we have these logos on our shirts and hats.
They
do
provide the arena for you to play, without a doubt.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And and that's why Phil has made so much money off the course, right? Is because the PGA Tour was the arena for that. So
he hit every shot. I don't doubt that. He hit every shot. He deserves that. However, the arena that he was provided to hit those shots was provided by the PGA Tour, and he wouldn't have had KPMG and Callaway and all the other sponsorships that he had without the TV deals that the PGA Tour allows him to play in front of. I mean, it really is such a, I scratch my back, you scratch yours. And I think the average person has a hard time feeling sorry for a guy who's worth $500 million.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where it came across as a little victim-y and like, hey, look at everything I've done and you didn't take care of me. And it's like, you've been taken pretty good care of. It would have sounded a lot better coming from Grayson Murray. Like, hey, listen, they're not taking care of me. That's more believable than coming from Phil. But Phil's got a name, and when he says something, people listen.
Yeah, I mean, look, Phil is one of those people that whatever he says, he has thought about before he said it. He knew what he was saying. He knew what he was getting himself into. He said it with clear intent to get, obviously, a rise out of people, to get the tour to he knew that there was probably not going to be very good consequences from what he said.
I would think so. And
in that sense, I don't feel sorry for him. I think he, if you called him all after a round, and let's say he played bad, and you called him after a round, and you were asking him questions, and then all of a sudden this topic comes up, and he said something, and he didn't have time to think about it, it'd be a little different. But he put it out there.
The interview was very well thought out.
Exactly.
Yeah, very much so.
He told him what he was going to ask him, and he prepared, and I'm sure his team knew what he was going to be asked, and that's just part of it. When you're that famous and that in the spotlight, you have people around you, you have people that teach you how to talk to the media, So I don't feel bad for him in that sense. But you know what, Phil is he's been great to me. That's all I can say is he's been great to me, and his brother was my coach in college at Arizona State, and Tim's a great friend, and you know what, his family, I've met his mom and dad, who are most wonderful people, and so I have nothing but good things to say. But I do feel bad, and I wish people, and it'll never change. I mean, this is just how the world works. But when people are down and people say the wrong things, people tend to just clinch onto it and run with it.
Cancel culture is taking over everything.
Mm-hmm. And you forget about the good things the guy's done for golf, and you forget about just the good things he's done to fans in the past, or you forget about how generous he's been to tipping all these people who he comes across, in his whole life. You hear about the good tippers and the bad tippers. Well, Phil is the good tipper, the best tipper on the list. So, he's changed a lot of lives for the better. And, I think over time it's going to blow over. I hope golf, like the PGA Tour and all that, they can look past it too. I mean, I've heard talks of him, being pulled out of the Hall of Fame, which would be crazy. I think that's just nonsense talk.
I agree.
I mean, it has nothing to do with his golf. People make mistakes. I hope when I see him back out here, I hope he gets a welcome that, that a Tiger Woods got when he came back after all his scandals and whatnot.
I'm not sure that will happen.
I don't either. I don't either.
Not sure.
But
before we let you, I want to get to our emergency 9 and ask you our quick 9 questions, but I want to talk about the golf course this week. Brand new golf course, brand new place. Talk about the golf course a little bit. I know you said you liked it better than the other golf courses that you guys have played in Mexico.
It's a bomber's course. I mean, I talked to one of the rules officials today, and I hope they keep it back. They'll move some tees around, but it's a bomber's paradise. I don't want them to move it up. The fairways aren't running very much. Par 4s are long. I mean, even I'm one of the longest hitters out here, and I'm hitting 7-iron, 6-iron, even 5-irons into some par 4s.
What's your average 7-iron distance?
Like 195, 195.
Wow.
So, I mean, that you're getting 500 plus par 4s out here. And there's like probably 2 or 3 tee shots where you really have to kind of sack up and just like, all right, you got to hit a good drive. But other than that, it's wide open. So look for a guy who hits it long, and look for a guy who, honestly, your short game, the grass is so perfect down here. When I say that the grass is perfect, I mean, like, when we showed up on Monday morning and the range had never been hit on, like, you could have your breakfast on this grass. It was so good.
That's awesome.
So it's not going to take someone who doesn't have every shot around the green, because the grass is so good. It's so easy to chip off of.
Right.
So look for a guy who hits it long and, is a good mid-iron player, to be honest with you. You're not even going to have to putt it great. I mean, the greens are big. They're not that fast. They're going to be it's going to be a low score just because it is in such perfect shape, and the wind is basically the same every day. It's blowing 10 to 15 in the afternoon. So you're not going to get any surprises in weather-wise. So I like my chances in playing good here. I mean, I really do. I don't say that like just to say it. I say it because when there's a course tailor-made for you, you kind of get a little excited. You get excited, it's a new course, right? So no one knows what the winning score is going to be. No one even really can say like, oh, it's going to be 20 to 25. We don't know. I mean, Tiger always said take the first round leader and usually double the score and add a few or minus a few, and that's pretty much your window of who the lead, the leading score in the 4 rounds is going to be. So, if the leader is going to be 18, 9 under after day one, look for it to be about 20, 22 under. That's going to win this tournament.
That's crazy.
So, and I honestly, he's right on when he said that years ago. I think it was in an interview. He was like, I usually take the first round lead, barring maybe some crazy weather here or there. If it's 4 under, I'm gonna I need to get to 10 under, and I have a chance on Sunday. So
wow, that's cool. That's at least that's good to know and have that in your head after the first round, like kind of where you stand. You tee off tomorrow afternoon with Ryan Armour and David Lingmerth. 2 questions. What are you working on in your swing, and what's the current state of your game, Grayson?
Yeah, so my my swing's pretty simple when it comes to what I work on. It's never really new things. Right now I'm just working on trying to get that club face at the top more closed. So what I mean by that is if you look at a Dustin Johnson, he has a bowed wrist at the top and his face is pointing straight up to the sky. That's a little too closed for me, but it's somewhere close to that because
is that just so you could just drop it and rotate on it?
Mm-hmm. Drop it, rotate, and swing left. So you don't have to do anything at the bottom with your face. When I'm too open at the top or square at the top, I have to get I get flippy at the bottom. So I'm gonna have a 2-way miss, and you can't play golf with a 2-way miss. I've been doing it for the last 6 months or more probably, and that's why my game has been where it's been in the gutter because no one can play golf with a 2-way miss unless your short game is just unbelievable.
Right.
And even then, it's going to catch up to you. So that's all I'm really working on. And then as far as
the current state of your as the current state of your game, I mean, you know what it takes to win on the tour. How close are you?
Yeah, I mean, I think how I'm hitting it, all I have to do is putt average and chip average, and I will. That means if you look at strokes gained putting and chipping or around the green, if I'm 0 and 0 in that statistic, I have a good chance of winning. I mean, even when I won the Barbasol my rookie year, I think strokes gained putting I was like 0.5. Like you see guys who went on tour that strokes gained putting are plus 12, plus 13, like Cam Smith at the Players Championship. I've never even in my life had. I don't even know what that feels like. I can't even fathom that. But he probably can't. He probably can't fathom having plus 10 or plus 12 strokes gained approach shot or off the tee. So that's where I say, you own your own game. You know your strengths. You know your weaknesses. Obviously, Cam Smith is a well-rounded player. That's why he's elite player on tour and an elite player in the world. And that's where I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get to where I can be elite all the way around. Don't have to be great, just be elite enough. And I don't I think if I can continue to hit it like I'm hitting it and just keep working on the little stuff, like I said, my mind and keep putting hours on the putting green and chipping green, I think honestly wins come out of the blue sometimes, right? I mean,
of your 4 starts this year, would you say you're hitting the best you're hitting it right now than you have of any of your other starts?
Oh, yeah.
You feel more confident
absolutely.
right now?
Yeah, it's not even close.
That's awesome.
It's not even close, which gets me excited because I've always been a streaky putter. I've never been one to just putt good all year. And so I know once I see that ball go in the hole, let's say on a Thursday or a Friday, or if I find something in my grip that just feels better, then it's just game on for me. So
right. That's awesome. Good deal. Well, before we let you go, let's get this emergency 9 in. We'll ask you 9 quick questions, and you just tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. Number 1, best ball striker on the PGA Tour.
Louis Oosthuizen, who I've played with.
Okay. Number 2, would you rather have a phone call or send a text?
Call.
Call, really? Okay. Amazon or go to the store and buy it yourself?
Amazon.
Exactly. Me too. Your go-to karaoke song?
Shit, I don't know. How about something country? I'm a country guy.
Oh, me too.
Something
Big
like
time.
maybe Eric Church.
Eric Church.
I like
I
Eric
dig
Church.
that. Player you'd most be nervous to be paired with on the PGA Tour, and then let me say other than Tiger Woods, because everybody says Tiger.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm not gonna be nervous playing with anyone out here. It might be because I'm in the final group of a major, but I'm not gonna be nervous because I'm playing with whoever.
Would you be nervous to play with Tiger?
I mean, I've played with him, not in a real round. I've played practice rounds with him. I mean, no. Like, I played with President Trump 3 months ago, and I was pretty nervous, honestly, with that than I've ever been with anyone else. And, I keep asking questions, though. Sorry.
All right, here we go. Now, if you weren't a pro golfer, what would you be doing?
Shit. Probably real estate. I like real estate.
All right. What's the most famous phone number in your cell phone?
Probably Tiger.
Nice.
Sports Tiger, non-sports, probably Eric Trump.
Okay, well we can compare numbers because I've got that one too. So that's good. We both got Eric's number.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I know you know Eric.
Yeah, we both got Eric's number. The best shot you've ever hit, considering the circumstance.
And don't tell Eric he's famous because that'll get to his head.
He might know, but yeah, I think you're right. Actually,
yeah, I mean he might know, but we want to keep him. We want to keep him humble. What was the question? Sorry.
Best shot you've ever hit under the circumstance.
Shit, probably. Oh, I mean, probably a putt. Probably just a 10-foot putt when I won. 8-foot putt. I don't know what it was. Yeah.
All right. Your favorite social media of choice and your favorite follow on that social media.
I would say Instagram for sure.
Okay.
I would say
that's good. Would like for you to stay off Twitter, I think.
Yes, and it's easier to I can I don't know. I can limit who comments and post on my shit. So
you do.
Yeah. Favorite follow would probably be like a porn star, not a porn star, but like a model.
Right.
Someone who's posting bikini pictures every day.
I love that. And by the way, I do have to admit, if you go on your Instagram in your DMs and you go to not your normal one, but if you go over to requests, I'm going to look like a crazy stalker because I must have DM'd you about 25 times to come on the podcast. So I look like a crazy ex-girlfriend, but I'm really not. It's me.
See, I don't even know how to do that. I didn't even know there was another tab.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there's another tab. It says requests, and it's like, so you're good. If you ever end up over there, you're going to go, what the hell does this Froggy guy want? That's me.
All right. Well, I apologize. I'm not,
no worry.
Not ignoring you. You saw how quickly I responded when Larry Blake texted us.
I did. What's your exempt status moving forward? How can we see you play after this week? When will we see Grayson again?
So when I took my medical last year, I got exempt straight to Corn Ferry Finals. I didn't play in it last year, so I got that to fall back on this year. I've won on one of those courses. I've came in third on one of them and then top 10 on others. So I love all three of those courses. I'm trying to peak when obviously I would like to win this week or win when I get a chance out here and take care of itself. But honestly, I'll probably play a lot of Corn Ferry stuff from here on out until those Corn Ferry finals start, and hopefully get my card back through that, or went out on the Corn Ferry and get my there's so many different avenues I got, and I'm not stressing at all. If you'd asked me probably 4 months ago when I didn't know that I had that Corn Ferry finals exemption, I probably would have told you, I'm stressing a little bit because I don't want my just to be past champion category. That's a tough category to be in.
I think your decision today to not deck Kevin Na played in your favor to playing more in the weeks coming up.
I agree. And if I would have got that Saudi money, that $20 million in my bank account, that punch might have gone through him. But
violence is never the answer. Just ask Will Smith. It's never the answer.
I know. Yeah, I know. You're right.
Good deal, Grayson, man. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. You've been awesome, man, and good luck to you this week. I would love to see you in the winner's circle or finish it high on the leaderboard come Sunday afternoon.
I got one question. I got one question for you.
What's that?
Who's your favorite Grayson on the show? Was it Grayson Sig or Grayson Murray?
I'm going to have to go with Grayson Murray because he gave us amazing stories.
All right. Well, I like Grayson Sig. So if you would have said him.
Dude, he really was. He was a really good dude. I mean, he's part of that pipeline coming out of Georgia.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I don't know what they have in that water, but I need to drink some of it.
It's really unreal.
Yeah, Coach Hack does a good job down there. So
he really does. Well, thank you again, man. Really appreciate it. We will definitely have you on again, and good luck this week. Play well, and we will talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much for listening to another edition of the Stripe Show podcast.